Hi everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to an Ellen Hutson video tutorial. Today I am playing with the Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes, and these are absolutely stunning. Gilding flakes are a lot like gold leaf, and they're so easy and so fun to work with, and I can hardly stand it. I had so much fun, and I just can't wait to gild everything with these flakes. And I'm playing with the Summer Meadow, which has a variegated color range in the flakes all mixed in, but there are also other gorgeous shades, and I've got to add more to my stash. Now I do want to mention, you want to be working with this in a room that has no air movement. Like, you do not want a fan blowing or the air conditioning going on, and try not to sigh heavily or you will end up in a cloud of these gilding flakes because they're seriously lighter than feathers. And I'm going to stamp an image with a glue pad. This is the Tsukineko glue pad. And then I'm also going to use the Ranger Scrub It pad. I'm actually going to cut it apart so I have a smaller piece. This is a brand new Scrub It pad. And I'm going to use a small piece of it to help me do some burnishing. So the first thing I want to do after I've stamped my image with the glue pad is I'm going to take these flakes and just lightly dump them on top of the glued image and start pressing it down. And so once again, I'm working with the Tsukineko glue pad, and I'm just pressing these flakes on top of the image, and then I'm going to start burnishing gently. Now I'm not scrubbing really hard, and I'm not sure if you can tell that, the amount of pressure, but I'm just lightly scrubbing it or wiping it across the surface there, and that's going to help burnish away what they call the fines, and that's the excess pieces of flake, and get those off of there. And don't worry about waste. We're going to scoop all of this back up and put it back into the jar for future use. So there's not a lot of waste that goes on with this stuff. It'll last you a long time. So I thought it was really interesting to see how this adhered to the paper with the glue pad, and I also wanted to see how it looked on black. So I did exactly the same thing, stamped with the glue pad, and then layered the flakes on top of it, pressed it with my fingers, and then once I felt I had covered it pretty well, started burnishing. And then I'm going to take a soft brush here just to see how it looks, and it's absolutely stunning on the black cardstock. But I wasn't quite as thrilled with the amount of coverage the glue pad gave, and so here I'm gonna take the flakes and put them back into the jar. Like I said, there's not a lot of waste with this because you're gonna funnel all the leftover flakes back into a jar. So I wanted to try something else. So this is where I kind of got inspired by some abstract paintings I'd seen on Pinterest, and so I wanted to create my own version of this. So I'm gonna take some of these distress paints by Tim Holtz for Ranger, and the reason why I'm using this paint is it's an acrylic, so it's going to be permanent on there, but it's also thinner than most acrylic paints, and it's going to dry relatively fast for me. So I'm just very quickly using my brushes from my favorite studio paintbrush set. I just love the different widths of these brushes, and I'm just switching out the colors, and I clean off my craft mat. I cut my craft mat apart and I clean it off in between the applications of color, and it is easier, I find, to just put the paint onto that craft mat and then wipe it off than it is to put it into a paint palette and try to clean the paint palette later on. So I'm just layering the colors, and I just kind of started with what I wanted in the background and then worked my way up, and so that the colors would dry like they're kind of opaque, so they're going to actually diffuse the colors that are behind them. So you kind of do have to think a little bit about your layering and how you want your colors to get layered up as you're moving back to front. So now that that's done through the magic of television, it's already dry. I already did one beforehand, so it would be ready to go. And I'm going to take the glue pad and see if I can get a different kind of effect. So I've just taken the glue pad and directly to paper rubbed it across the surface, just very randomly, hit and miss. And then I'm going to take the glue flakes again and just tap them into the surface there. You could try rubbing, but I found I got better results if I just tapped and pressed it with my fingertips. And then I'm going to take my little piece of Rub It, Scrub It pad. It has these little funky foam bristly things on it, but it's soft. It's not harsh. And like I said, I'm not using hard pressure. I'm just gently scrubbing across the top really quick and burnishing it and removing the fines, the excess flakes there. And then there you can see what it looks like. It's a really cool random effect. And so I really like using the glue pad for this. And I decided I wanted to add a little bit more in another spot. And there, voila, it's all finished. I absolutely love how this card turned out. I added a die cut there in black. That one's by Savvy. And it's just so contemporary, and I love, love, love how it turned out. Join me for part 2, where I'm going to show you a few more techniques for adhering the gilding flakes.